The Galactic Council chamber was a masterpiece of alien engineering, a vast dome of shimmering crystalline walls that refracted light into a kaleidoscope of colors. The air was thick with tension, a palpable unease spreading among the gathered delegates. Each species represented at the table was an ancient power in its own right, yet their combined presence did little to diminish the dread looming over them. "This report cannot be accurate," hissed Delegate Throlic of the Zynar Collective, his segmented eyes narrowing as he scanned the holographic display hovering before him. A single ship, primitive, human, and it obliterated an entire Ravager fleet. "It's accurate," replied High Arbiter Senvala of the Velnari Ascendancy, her voice tinged with both awe and skepticism. Her bioluminescent markings pulsed faintly, betraying her unease. The human vessel, designated Aegis Resolute, displayed firepower and tactical precision that defy its technological standing. The room erupted into murmurs, each delegate whispering theories and doubts. Humans, after all, were a relatively new addition to the galactic stage. Known for their volatile history and rapid technological advancements, they had only recently established formal relations with the Council. To think that such an upstart species could overpower the Ravagers, a scourge that had plagued the galaxy for centuries, was unthinkable. Ambassador Forlek of the Drawn Consortium, a species known for its stoicism, finally broke the chatter. "Perhaps this is a fluke, an anomaly. Humans are unpredictable." "Unpredictable or not," interjected Senvala, "we cannot ignore the facts. The Ravagers are advancing faster than anticipated, and our defenses are crumbling. If the humans possess technology or tactics that can match them, we must know." The chamber fell silent, the weight of her words sinking in. The Ravagers were not just a threat, they were annihilation incarnate. Entire star systems had been consumed by their relentless onslaught, their biomechanical fleets leaving nothing but silence in their wake. The Council, for all its wisdom and resources, had yet to devise a strategy to halt their advance. As the delegates deliberated, a sharp chime echoed through the chamber, signaling an incoming transmission. The crystalline walls shimmered, and a projection filled the center of the room. It was a ship, massive, angular, and imposing. Its hull was a stark contrast to the elegant, streamlined designs of Council vessels. The Aegis Resolute was a behemoth of steel and firepower, every inch of it screaming efficiency and lethality. The delegates stared in stunned silence as the projection shifted to reveal a message from the ship's commander. The voice was calm, deliberate, and unmistakably human. "This is Captain Elias Kane of the Aegis Resolute. I request an audience with the Galactic Council." The tension in the room snapped like a taut wire. "They dare come here, uninvited." Throlic spat, his mandibles clicking angrily. "They came to talk," Senvala replied, her tone measured. "And perhaps to teach us why they succeeded where we failed." Despite their misgivings, the Council voted to allow the human vessel into the system. The Aegis Resolute glided through the outer defenses, its mere presence a silent testament to humanity's defiance of galactic norms. For better or worse, the humans were here, and the Council had no choice but to listen. A sharp, shrill alarm pierced the tense air of the Council chamber, cutting through the debates like a blade. Holographic displays around the room lit up in urgent red, accompanied by a chorus of panicked voices from the station's command staff. The Ravagers had arrived. Their fleet, a grotesque amalgamation of biomechanical monstrosities, had dropped out of warp and surrounded the system with overwhelming numbers. "This cannot be." Throlic's segmented eyes widened in disbelief as the fleet's composition appeared on the screens. "They were light years away. How did they find us so quickly?" "Does it matter?" Kane's voice cut through the noise, sharp and decisive. He stepped toward the main display, scanning the tactical readout. "They're here, and you're unprepared. Your ship brought them here." Forlek snapped, his composure crumbling into anger. "Your presence has endangered us all." Kane turned to face the drawn representative, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly. "Blame me later if there's a later." Right now you need leadership, not finger-pointing. Senvala, her voice strained but steady, intervened. The Council's fleet is mobilizing, but they won't be enough. Our defenses were designed for a calculated battle, not an ambush of this scale. Kane's jaw tightened as he processed the tactical data. The Ravager fleet dwarfed the Council's defensive forces. Their ships, twisted and predatory, radiated a dark, pulsating energy that seemed to mock the elegant designs of the Council's vessels. Even with every ship in the sector, the odds were grim. "Authorize my command," Kane said, his tone firm. "Let the Aegis Resolute lead the defense." The chamber erupted into protests. "Outrageous," Frolic spat. "We cannot entrust our survival to a single human vessel." "You don't have a choice," Kane replied bluntly, his gaze sweeping across the room. "Your fleet will be annihilated without coordination. My ship is the only one equipped to deal with this threat." Forlex sneered. "And what guarantee do we have that you won't abandon us once the battle turns?" Kane stepped closer, his voice dropping to a cold, commanding tone. "I didn't come here to run. You may not trust me, but trust this. The Ravagers will destroy everything you hold dear if you hesitate. Grant me operational control, or prepare to watch this station burn." A tense silence followed. Finally, Senvala nodded. "Do it. We've no other option." The chamber's control panel illuminated as authority was transferred to the Aegis Resolute. Kane wasted no time. He activated a neural uplink, his augmented mind seamlessly integrating with the ship's systems. Through his connection, the Aegis Resolute roared to life. The Council delegates watched in awe as the human dreadnought unleashed its arsenal. Massive cannons fired salvos of kinetic rounds that tore through Ravager ships, while precise energy weapons cut through their swarms with surgical efficiency. The ship moved with surprising agility for its size, outmaneuvering the enemy and drawing their fire away from the Council's fleet. Inside the Aegis Resolute, Kane's neural link allowed him to process the chaos of battle in real time. He anticipated the Ravagers' movements, adapting tactics on the fly. It was more than technology. It was humanity's instinct for survival, honed through centuries of conflict, brought to bear against an ancient foe. Despite the Aegis Resolute's ferocity, the battle was far from easy. Ravager ships swarmed like locusts, each one an apex predator designed for destruction. Kane's commands came rapid-fire, directing both his ship and the scattered Council forces into coordinated strikes. Slowly, the tide began to turn. The chamber erupted in cheers as the largest Ravager ship, a grotesque leviathan bristling with weaponry, exploded under the combined assault. But Kane remained focused. "It's not over," he said, his voice calm despite the strain. "They'll fall back and regroup. We need to press the advantage." As the remaining Ravager ships began to retreat, the Council delegates exchanged looks of disbelief and admiration. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had seen the Ravagers not as an unstoppable force, but as prey. And at the center of it all was humanity, defying every expectation with their unyielding resolve.